Hi friends, it's Carly and I'm back again with another review. Please forgive my wet hair and strange lighting. I am trying something new by filming this at 6 o'clock in the morning before work. I've still been trying to get my videos recorded on the weekend and after work, but working a 50-hour week, the timing just isn't working out for me, and I have so much content I want to create for you guys. So just know that I am working diligently to figure out the best time to do this, and I will get videos out no matter what it takes. I just need to figure out the best timing to do that. So today we are going to step back off the Mr. Hyde line. I know that you guys want to see that figure, and I am going to get it done this week, but last night I watched Loki and I have this whole box of Disney Plus figures that I've just been waiting to dive into, and I thought, what better time than the day after episode 2 of Loki than to pull out a Disney Plus figure and take a look at it. We are going to be taking a look at Loki today. So if you guys are, I'm not going to talk anything about the series, but I will say that if you're watching the Disney Plus series right now, I think that there is a Loki hype on the way. I think we're going to get a lot more Loki figures. I think that we're going to see a lot more from this series. I am very excited now about our Mobius and Mobius figure, and I'm just really looking forward to all the things to come from this. After watching the second episode, I'm just super hype on the series, just like I got with Falcon and the Winter Soldier and just like I got with WandaVision. So I just wanted to talk about this today while it's fresh in my mind and my heart is still racing, and I'm just really excited about everything to come. So we're going to take a look at this figure today. I am going to finish the previous series. Please don't be mad at me, but we'll get to that when we get to it. So this is the first figure that was announced or released from the Loki series. It is Loki in his TVA variant uniform. You'll notice that with the pictures of the Mobius and Mobius figure, this is the same uniform he's wearing. If you're not watching the series, they're wearing the same outfit with a slight difference. His jacket says variant. Obviously, Mobius is not a variant, so his doesn't say that. But this is the first sort of appearance, really, or the first introduction that we're really getting to the character as the story is sort of taking off. There is one other appearance. Hopefully we get a figure for that too, because I really liked the way that the series started out. So I'm hoping that we get a bunch of Lokis. Tom Hiddleston is just sort of has a face that's sort of rife for sculpting in this way, I think. And I think that Hasbro really nailed it. I know that there has been criticism about the sort of expressionless faces recently, especially with the Shang-Chi figure, with the face sculpts being as beautiful and accurate as they are. Everyone sort of felt like they were very one note and expressionless. I do not think that anyone can say that with this particular figure. He definitely has his Loki smirk. I think that it's very obviously Tom Hiddleston. I love the movement in the hair. The sculpt is really, really beautiful. There's motion, and he just has this really great expression on his face. And with all of the movement in the new head, in the neck, you can get all kinds of expression, looking up, looking down, sort of snarkily looking to the left. Snark is like the key word for this character right now. I mean, it always kind of has been, but really right now, we're getting a snarky more than an evilly mischievous Loki. So this is a really great representation for me personally after the first 2 episodes so far of this character. That said, it is fair to note that the outfit is pretty boring. There is some color differences between the actual costume and this costume, but we're basically talking about a khaki suit, so it's not the most dynamic figure. But again, once you've watched the show, once you've started to watch the show, it's easy to get a little bit more excited about it, and it is crafted really, really well. So the articulation on this figure is something that I want to talk about because, again, we find ourselves with this vinyl overlay, the jacket that is not removable, and actually is integral to the character, so you wouldn't probably want to take it off. And immediately I was afraid that it was going to be too much of a hindrance, but we actually find that it's not that bad. So the backward motion is where most of the hindrance comes, but you can get a lean back that is as realistic as any would be on a regular person. I know that Loki is a magical person, but in this context, he's a little bit more of an average dude, and I feel like that is fair. The most important thing for me is that it holds this position. So maybe it's not as deep of a bend backward as I would really love, but it holds the position. The vinyl isn't pushing it forward. So that's nice. Now this could be a coincidence. I know that they haven't done anything to change the vinyl from the figures that I just talked about. But I actually think that it's because of the narrow body frame and the particular diaphragm, I don't know, diaphragm doesn't feel like the right word to me, but waist bending, the ab crunch that we have. The mechanism on this very slender figure goes all the way across. So because there's less bulk on the side, when there's less bulk on the side and the mechanism is actually the entire abdomen all the way across, we're getting a much deeper, easier, smoother bow forward, just by virtue of the way that the figure is designed. And then it's easy to bend backward because it's taking the entire torso into consideration when that happens, if that makes sense. So rather than having a sort of triangular shaped torso that comes down into this folding ab crunch mechanism, we have the entire figure being one width, very narrow, and the entire piece is a part of that mechanism, and it's sort of split 50-50 top to bottom rather than coming down in the bottom quarter of the figure. That sounds really overly complicated, but I think that that's the reason why with this overlay we're able to get a better bend, because that is taking place in the center of the abdomen rather than down at the bottom of the torso nearer the waist because of a bulkier sculpt on the upper body. One way or another, it works much better than typically it does. I still would like to see something more flexible or fabric. I'm always going to ask for fabric, and I know that some people disagree with me on that. I'm always going to want fabric, but in this particular case, the hindrance is not what it normally is, and I'm really happy with it. Again, the facial sculpt is a total win for me. The expression, while it is a little bit more subtle, there is the smirking face, and it does really suit him. He has expression in his eyes, and the movement in his hair is really, really cool. So I'm really impressed lately with the sculpts on these figures, and the changes that have been made to the articulation have been great. Everything else on this figure works wonderfully. Now it's gonna sort of we'll have to wait and see how much we're really wanting and needing in this iteration of the character to pose him in interesting, dynamic, active poses. That might not necessarily be the thing that we're doing the most with this character. He might sort of be doing other things. I really don't want to talk about the series too much because I never want to spoil anything. But if you do decide that you want to do very dynamic poses with him, the articulation on this figure is perfect. Every single part works the way that it should. I would like a little bit more of a lateral lift on the legs, on the hip, but with the turning, you can get a nice split either way. So if you're really wanting to pose him in that way, you can manipulate the thighs and the hips to get the pose that you want there. There's no issues turning in the waist. We have a really nice bend in the hands. I'm not 100% sure about the choice of hands. I don't think that an additional set of hands was necessary, but the particular hands chosen, I think, maybe aren't quite as natural. I might swap them out. If you notice the pose that I had him in where he's sort of holding his jacket and his collar, that was sort of the best pose that I could come up with these hands. I think that they're a little bit awkward. I don't know how else to explain it the way that they are. So I might choose another set of hands that are just a little bit more relaxed on this character. I mean, these are relaxed, but they're also doing something. And because he doesn't have an accessory, it feels a little weird. But that literally might be the only thing that I have to criticize, not complain, but criticize about this figure. He's very good looking. The body type is perfect. The costume is exactly what it should be. While it's simple and direct, if you haven't seen the series, once you start watching the series, you'll understand why this makes sense for the Loki that we're getting. This is the Loki of the series, and there is a great potential, I think, for us to get a lot more from this series, especially since I have heard rumors. Let me know what you guys think about these rumors, that there might be 2 to 3 more seasons of this show already in the works. So with that information, sort of floating out there in the ether, it's interesting to think about Loki being maybe more of a main character in the coming phase of the Marvel Universe. I'm really excited to see what's to come with that, and for this being the first figure of that phase and that potentiality of the Marvel Universe, I'm just really, really happy with it. You know, I have a more traditional Loki in his you know, god costume with his horns and everything. I love that. But this is just a really exciting change for me, and I'm really, really happy with the way that this figure looks. So that is that on Loki. I know that there isn't a ton of you know, a ton seemingly going on with this figure, but I think it's a wonderful representation of the Disney Plus series. I think it's a wonderful representation of the changes that I've been so happy with Hasbro lately, as far as sculpt, paintwork, and overall articulation just working really, really well. So let me know what you guys are thinking about the Loki figure. Let me know what you're thinking about the rest of the Disney Plus series. I am wrapping up the Shang-Chi series. It's coming, but let me know what you guys want to see next from this series and what you think of the show so far. That is that on Loki, and thank you guys so much for watching my videos. I will keep them coming. Let me know on Instagram at YourAnnoyingFriendCar with underscores between all the words, or Facebook at AnnoyingCar, what you guys would like to see, if you would like another live stream, what you would like to see for photographs, and I will keep working to do it. I hope you guys are all having a great week, and I will be back very, very soon, I promise, with another one. Thanks for watching. Bye, friends.